Today's episode, I'm sharing one of the most frequently coached upon thoughts that my clients have that are holding them back from success. So stay tuned to learn what that thought is and how to overcome it. Hey ladies, it's Amanda. Welcome to the Feel Amazing Naked podcast. This is a show where we dig deep, get honest, and talk about all the unsexy steps it takes to meet your goals. Whether you want to get fit, eat healthier, make more money, start a business, or any other results you desire in your life. Most of all, this podcast is for women who are ready to feel amazing naked on the outside and the inside. So ladies, time to take it off. Welcome to the podcast. It's Amanda, and I am so excited that you're here. Today I'm talking about a question that's probably in the top 5 most coached upon thoughts or thought errors or struggles that I've seen in my client work over the years, and truthfully that I definitely struggled with in the beginning of my journey as well. And before I dive into the question or the thought that comes up, I also want to talk about an opportunity for you to work on your confidence as a coach. I'm hosting a free workshop on August 9th at 9 a.m. my time, Pacific time, noon Eastern, where I'm going to be sharing the 3 steps to being a more confident coach. Confidence is everything because self-confidence leads to coaching confidence. And when you are confident as a coach, you create confident clients, and the spiral from there is so amazingly powerful. Inside this workshop, I'm going to be walking you through some of the mistakes I see that create a lack of confidence in coaches. And I'm going to help you really dive into the number one thing that I think creates confidence as a coach so that you can feel confident no matter if you have 0 clients or 50 clients. So this workshop's for you if you're a new coach starting out and you have 0 clients, or you are a coach that still feels like this little bit of imposter creeping in. And if you are a coach that sometimes struggles with this notion of self-doubt and you aren't sure if you can actually create this living, this freedom, this time and money freedom that you're dreaming about as a coach, I want you to join us. You can sign up at amanda-walker.com/confident coach, and I will see you there. Now let's back to our regularly scheduled programming. So as I said, this is one of the common questions or thoughts that we get in coaching around confidence. And it's also something that I see just leave really amazingly gifted, talented people that have passion, that are just very organic, natural coaches sit in complete paralysis. And this question or this thought often comes up, and it sounds something like this. How can I coach people when I don't really have all my stuff figured out myself? How do I coach people when I am not really perfect myself? Or it can also sound something similar like, how do I coach people when I just don't feel like I know everything there is to know about the craft or the content that I am thinking about? Or how do I coach people when I'm just not far enough ahead in my journey? So if you've thought one of these thoughts, then today I'm going to walk you through how to shift your thinking and how to get to this place where you feel confident despite these thoughts maybe being a little bit more persistent than you would actually love. I was recently coaching a client. She is a woman over 50 who's had an amazing transformation herself with regard to her body and her mindset around food. And we coached on this very thought. And she said, well, I get so excited to lead people. And then what happens is I find that I have hurdles in my own health journey. And I'm like, I feel like I'm an imposter. I feel like if I haven't figured out this journey perfectly and I'm not perfect every single day with my food and my fitness habits, there's no way I can teach somebody else to be that way. And to that, I say, it's unrealistic. There is no way as humans that we will ever be perfect in any aspect of our business or our life. And for us to set that unrealistic expectation for ourselves when we're leading our clients is really stopping us from sharing our complete zone of genius with the world. I use myself as an example. When I started business coaching years ago, I never sought out like, I'm going to be a business coach. Instead, what happened was I started to lean into this passion for health and fitness that grew into life coaching. And as people saw my business growing, they were like, hey, Amanda, how'd you do that? Can you show me how? And I started teaching people for free And then I realized I actually really love this. I actually think I really want to do this for, I want to charge my services. So at that point, what I could have said is, well, I don't know enough. I haven't made millions of dollars in my business yet. I can't teach you. But what I realized is nobody actually cared if I had made $7 million or $7,000. What they cared about was somebody to be in their court, right, on their sideline, cheering for them and showing them the steps that were necessary to get started. And now that's evolved, right? Now I'm able to take clients much further along because I'm further along. So these are some of the, I think, mistakes that we make that come along with this thought often is the mistakes of thinking that more certifications and education equals more readiness. So if I just have, this certification, if I just go back to school, because I sat a long time thinking when I first started my business that I will totally be confident and ready when I have a PhD. Yeah, I'm just going to get a PhD and then I'm going to show up like a genius in my field. I am so glad. I was literally hunting down PhD programs and Justin knocked some sense into me about that. And I was like, do you really? Like, look around you, right? Look around you at all these people having massive success that don't have PhDs. Is it about the PhD? And the answer is absolutely not, right? It was about tuning into the thought errors, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment, that were stopping me from taking action. But we disguise that. We think, I'm just going to utilize that. I'm just going to tap into that more certification and education. And it's going to all of a sudden make the thought, I'm far enough along or not far enough along to disappear. And then I'm going to be ready to coach the people. And so when we think this thought, I'm not far enough along, I don't have it all figured out, what we do is we wait and we take zero action because we sit in shame thinking that there's people out there that are leading people that actually have it figured out. We have sometimes this trend of looking outside ourselves, especially in a world filled with social media, when we get these very subtle nuances of people. And you might even think that of me, she's got her stuff figured out. And the answer is, oh, heck no. Like, I might be one of the only people out there that's not afraid to tell you that, things suck and we fail a lot and we fail over and over. And I don't have it figured out. There's so many times in my health journey where I fell into that trap too of like, I just binge ate the entire pantry. And what I started to do was talk more about those candid imposter feelings that were coming up and say like, I just had for a long time, I was afraid to even let people know I drank alcohol when I was health coaching because there was this irrational thought in my mind that I needed to not talk about that because that would make people think that I was a fraud. Hindsight, though, I started talking about it and people started asking me questions. Well, how do you drink alcohol and still maintain this level of fitness and physique? And I realized that all of these thoughts in my mind about imposter parts of me were actually the exact thing that people wanted to hear. And now people want to hear things more like, how are you actually recording your podcast? How are you keeping your business going when the kids are knocking at the door in the summer and they're wanting time from you and you feel this push-pull between being present in your business and not wanting to work any freaking days and being with the kids versus wanting to keep action going and create a sense of cadence and rhythm in the summer. We are not exempt from these same challenges. And it's so important for me to call those out and to talk about them because that actually humanizes us. It actually says like, hey, that thought I can't coach because I'm not all the way there. There is no finish line. You are never going to be there. And that's part of the human experience. And that's part of the journey is knowing that you only have to be a few steps in front of your people. Right? If you're a weight loss coach trying to teach people how to lose weight and you've already lost 50 pounds, guess what? You've learned something in there to teach people how to lose the first 10, the first 20, the first 30. And while you're continuing in your journey, they are coming along in theirs. And in fact, when we teach people, we actually have a greater level of mastery because we are teaching people and we're figuring out the gaps and we're able to articulate our journey and put it into a tangible, concrete way that they can learn and understand. So I think it's actually critical that we've gone through the journey because we are able to offer a next level of empathy and a next level of realness that we couldn't otherwise offer. right? I don't want to learn from somebody that feels perfect and isn't telling me that they've had struggles and failures, because that doesn't seem doable to me in my world. And this is also why for me, it's important when I'm selecting a guide or a mentor or a coach in my life that they are where I want to be in my life and have done the thing. For example, when I coached in health, I feel like as a person who's lost 60, 70 pounds to get where I wanted to be, I can offer a different experience and a different level of empathy than had I not been that person. Also, I feel that as a business coach and a coach of coaches, I can offer a level of empathy and understanding and connection had I not been a business coach that's never run my own business, which there are plenty of them out there. They're just not for me personally, because I don't connect with them when they tell me, well, I've never run a business, but this is what I would do. I'm like, yeah, but have you ever been behind the publish button when you're so afraid to share a piece of content about you personally and your business? Do you know what that feels like, right? Do you know what it feels like when you have gotten to a place in your life where you're 70 pounds heavier than you've ever been and you hate your body, right? Versus a trainer that's maintained a level of fitness. Well, I think that's amazing. And I think they serve clients so delightfully and beautifully as well. There's just differences there. And, you get to decide what is a great fit for you. But back to our discussion. What also happens often is we have these thoughts. How do I coach people if I'm not far enough along, or if I'm not perfect, or if I don't know enough yet? And they are just thoughts. They are not facts. You hear me talk about this on the show all the time. That sometimes, though, these thoughts come on repeat in our mind and they feel so true for us that they feel factual. In fact, we've grown up in a culture that has said the academic path is the right way often. It wasn't until I stepped into entrepreneurship and I realized, oh my gosh, it's not the only way. The academic journey is the right way for some, but I don't know about you, but I got out of college and grad school and I was not prepared to be a teacher. I had great book smarts. I knew how to create lesson plans. I knew all of, the ideas around coaching, the best way to coach people in the books. But then I got out there and none of it actually was real life. Great. I had a lesson plan planned out, but we didn't really have the opportunity to sit in a classroom and try to administer said lesson plan while one kid was on a cell phone, the other kid was looking out the window, 4 girls were passing notes, and I had 10 kids in the room who really didn't even want to be there. Right? So how then do I take this lesson plan and all of a sudden breathe life into it so that it inspires kids to want to put away the cell phone and engage and stop passing notes, right? That is the art of what we do as coaches. We take the information and we have to figure out how to breathe life into it so that our people are excited about it. And that does not come from the credentials that you carry. It does not come from how far along you are in the journey. It comes from you believing in yourself and being able to facilitate results in someone and inspire them into action, no matter how far enough you are in the journey. They don't care if you're perfect. They don't care if you have a PhD. All they truly care about is, can you take me from this pain that I'm feeling right now into the paradise of possibilities that is my life? When we start to see, by the way, that thinking in ourselves, what we can really do is start to understand our own mind and do a little bit of self-coaching to help us overcome that hump. So one of the things to just reiterate is that thinking drives feelings. So confidence, by the way, is a feeling. So that means that it comes from our thoughts. So if we want to feel confident enough to take action, then it's not necessarily going out to get the credentials and change our external circumstance. It's about choosing to think thoughts that are relevant for you. I'm going to talk more about this in my upcoming workshop and give you some really tangible tools to coach confidently when you don't feel ready and confident yet. But that feeling of lack of confidence or shame or guilt or, disappointment in ourselves comes from our thinking. And we must call out that thinking so that we can say, this is not factual. And notice how sometimes our mind wants to believe it is so factual, right? Our mind wants to believe that, wow, this thought I've been hanging on to for years or months is truly just a thought and not a fact in my life. The other thing that I want to say is action strengthens belief. So if we want to feel more confident, what we have to do is we actually have to go out and coach. And that can be coaching people for free. It can be coaching our friends. It can be coaching the neighbor. It can be coaching a stranger. I don't suggest like going up to people and just unsolicited coaching them, but obviously, engage in an organic conversation. And one of my upcoming episodes where we're going to talk a little bit about niche and coaching, and do we really need to drill down our niche? Does it matter? But I'm going to talk a little bit more strategy in 2 weeks around that. But I do really invite you to look at what is possible for you in a session with someone, even when you don't have it figured out, even when you're not perfect. Somebody once said to me, if you had the answer and the cure for cancer and you weren't sure if it was perfect and ready, but you felt like, oh my gosh, I could change people's lives, would you stop? Would you withhold it from, the millions of people out there that could possibly benefit from the result? And my answer was no. But then I shined the light back on me, but for some reason in coaching that felt different, and it's not. If you have the answer from taking an overwhelmed mother into a place of peace, if you have the answer of taking a teen that has no confidence and is struggling with anxiety to a place of contentment in their life, why would you hold them back from that success? Right? So by you getting into your own shit and not self-coaching around your confidence, you are truly holding back your gift of transformation that you can provide other people. And when I think of it in that context, that helps me totally shift my thinking of stop being selfish and stop making it all about me and making it more about the people I know that are waiting for me and the people that I know I can support. And all of a sudden, that thought seems to be less and less factual for me. And that begins to shift everything. So if you are struggling with this thought or the variation of the thought, I hope that today's episode kind of sheds light, gives a little bit of a reframe, gives you an opportunity to self-coach, and come hang out with us on my free workshop coming up on August 9th, the Confident Coaches workshop, where I'm going to dive more into some of the tools, the tactile tools and strategy that will help you take 3 steps towards being a more confident coach. If you have any questions about these episodes and something comes up for you and you're like, wow, Amanda, what? I see it, I hear it, but I'm not really able to put it into play, then please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at A Walk My Way. And if this episode speaks to you and you're feeling inspired by it, then one way you can say thank you is by leaving a review. Hop onto iTunes or Spotify. Let us know we're doing an amazing job. Let me know why this content spoke to you, because that's how other coaches and service providers can find these pieces of nuggets out there, and we can really serve the coaching industry as a whole.
And if you love this episode, I would love for you to subscribe to the podcast on whatever favorite podcasting app you have. That way you will be sure to get the newest episodes delivered to you for free as soon as they come out.